Hello everyone, Fancy here. You are watching Fantavision, and today, another Tales from Retail. This time, of course, I'm by myself, so that means GameStop. And I'm covering something that a couple people have asked about, and I've briefly mentioned in other episodes. It's the surprising topic of the elderly at GameStop. Yes, that is right. We're going to be talking about old people that come into GameStop. Before we dive in real quick, I will cover the drink. Spindrift sparkling water with fruit juice in it, and it's raspberry lime. I don't like it by itself, it tastes gross. But if you mix it with 2 shots of Luxosova vodka, it tastes a lot better. Isn't that weird? Like putting alcohol in the drink. Makes it taste significantly better. And I think that's because it's so bitter, because raspberry is kind of a bitter fruit, and so are limes. They put both together. Makes it really bitter, and the vodka somehow mellows it out. I don't know how. I'm not a scientist or a mixologist or whatever. Anyway, so today, elderly at GameStop. You might be thinking, why would old people ever come into GameStop besides, shopping for grandchildren? And really that's the main reason they came in. And I usually felt kind of bad for them because they seemed so lost and confused. Not only did they seem lost and confused when they were actually meaning to shop there, but when they were looking for something that, well, we didn't sell at the time, or I didn't sell at the time when I worked at GameStop, but now I guess they kind of do. So let's talk about the people that didn't mean to be there, because there were quite a few old people that would come in and they'd be like, "Do you got solitaire?" And I'm like, What do you mean solitaire? Like, for what? What system are you talking about? Because I don't think we have solitaire of any sort. They're like, well, I want one of those digital solitaire handheld games. And I'm like, oh, we don't have those. I feel like if GameStop did, they'd sell a lot, though, judging by how many old people came in and asked them. I don't know if people still ask for that sort of thing, or if they even sell that sort of thing, but I used to just send them to Walmart. Because at the time, they did sell those, like, Tiger Electronic or just some random company solitaire games. They also had, like, blackjack, poker, stuff like that. And honestly, when I was a kid, I used to play those handheld solitaire games all the time. It was a ton of fun to play in the car, and the batteries just never died. So we'd send them away, and that was always funny. And then board games, which now if I worked at GameStop, I'd be like, we do have board games for some reason. We have like 1 billion different types of Monopoly. I mean, have you seen... I'm sorry, I keep getting stuff in my eyes. Have you seen how many types of Monopoly there are? Like, just... even without looking at GameStop, I mean, GameStop has a shit ton of different monopolies, but, like, I can't even... Like, how is this a thing? How did this become a thing? When did this become a thing? Why are there so many different types of monopolies? I feel like there's Monopoly for every single theme out there. I mean, I've seen, like, Horseopoly, Dogopoly, Simpsons Monopoly, South Park Monopoly, Pokemon Monopoly, Zelda Monopoly... was there like a Mario video game one? There's a gamer Monopoly. Whenever somebody puts gamer in the title, it makes me want to kill myself. I don't understand, because it does like this weird thing, and it's funny because just like video games, it had microtransactions because you had to buy these like card packs for the game, and there was like separate pieces you could buy on the side. They're like, gamers are stupid. They buy a lot of extra dumb stuff. Maybe if we make a gamer edition of Monopoly, they'll think it's like a video game, and they'll buy more stuff for it. That's my thought process behind that. So there's so many different types of board games now at GameStop, so I guess I would be able to say yes. But back then, again, I would just send them off to Walmart, and I'm trying to think of what else they might have looked for that we didn't sell. Some people came in completely confused as to what the store was, even though it's called GameStop. I don't know how you get that really confused. I think somebody was looking for pet toys at one point, and I was just kind of baffled because it's called GameStop. I don't know how you could. Anyway, so there were some of the other people that were very confused, and I feel like they shouldn't have been left to their own devices and should have had some caretaker of some sort. But the people that did come in for the holiday shopping are the people I felt really bad for, because I don't know why they didn't have their son or daughter, who was the parent of the grandparent. Obviously, that's what a granddaughter is, or grandson is. I don't know why they didn't have their son or their daughter in to help them figure out what the hell their grandkids want. Because the thing is I'm sure your grandparents are the same way. I'm sure my grandparents would be just as confused coming into a GameStop, because they would come in and they would ask the most absurd questions, like the most meme, troll-worthy things you can think of, that you or I would say on purpose to just mess with someone or as like a joke. But they're like saying it, in sincerity. Like they're really looking for the new Mario game for the Xbox One. And you're kind of like, well, that's not a thing, first of all. Or they're looking to buy the Nintendo PlayStation, and I'm like, I can't help you. So you have to like try to get them to describe what they're looking for. What's funny is just how baffled people get when you tell them that Mario is not on the Xbox. I don't know how many times I had to explain that. It's like, yeah, he's got an Xbox, but he really wants to get Mario Kart. And I'm like, Mario Kart is not on the Xbox. That is only on Nintendo consoles. At the time, I believe it was either the Wii or the Wii they were talking about. And I'm like, well, we'll just say the Wii. I'm like, well, if you had a Wii, does he have a Wii at home? Oh, I don't quite know what he has. I don't know what it is about getting old, but I feel like these old people should realize that this is not going to be an easy task for them, because it's a technology they don't really understand and a form of entertainment they don't really participate in most of the time. So if they know that they're not quite sure, you think they'd kind of specify or ask before they got there, because most of the time, like I said, they'd come in confused. I would clarify, no, Mario is not on the Xbox. And then they'd look at me like they don't really believe me for a second, but then they find like, well, this guy looks kind of like a loser. I'm sure he's correct. He knows what he's talking about. So then they sit there in the store and talk as loud as human. Now, this isn't just grandparents. This isn't just old people. For some reason, I don't know what generation it is, but it's not. I haven't seen it as much in my generation. But they like yell into the phone as if they have to like scream loud enough so that like the wireless cellular service will transfer their voice. They're like throwing their voice as far as they can. I don't even want to like reenact it because it's gonna be too loud. I'm gonna have to like fix it in post because they talk so freaking loud. And the thing is, it's like it's so loud. I know it's probably a part of a multiple different things. It's them shouting through the cellular service, trying to make sure it gets to them and they can hear it. And they're also trying to make other people hear it because they can't really hear themselves because they're old. Not insulting old people. I'm just saying that's what happens when you get older. The human body breaks down. Anyway, so they're screaming into their phone. They're not angry or anything. They're just trying to figure. Some of them did get angry though, because they got really frustrated that they couldn't figure out this simple shopping experience. And again, like you think with their age comes wisdom, but most of the time, no. It's almost, it breeds more ignorance. It's like, if you don't know what you're doing, figure it out beforehand. Take a picture of what they want. Tell your son or daughter, okay, what do they want? Send me a link. Like that's so simple, you know? Like send me a picture of what they want. It's not my kid. You figure it out. I'm buying them a gift. Help me out here. And you think the parent would be like, oh, okay, I get it. You don't really know about this stuff. I barely know about this stuff. Here's all the info I know. But instead, it feels like they just kind of send them in blind. Oh, they want the new Mario game. What am I getting him? Oh, he wants the new Mario game. Whatever on the PlayStation, Xbox. I don't know what it is. I mean, my mom still calls the Xbox One she calls every console. A lot of people do this. The Nintendo. And like, I get that was the console of their time, but it's just so funny and so frustrating when you work at GameStop and they call every console the Nintendo. I remember, so this is like the opposite problem at this point. Like if they'd, oh, I want the Mario and the Nintendo. No, they knew the other consoles, but anyway. Like I did have some old people come in and they wanted to buy the new Nintendo for their grandchildren. And they wanted to buy the new Nintendo that plays Halo. And I'm just like, okay. Or no, what was even worse is they wanted the new Nintendo that plays Call of Duty. Because then you get no descriptors at all. You're like, okay, well, everything plays the game Call of Duty. So you got to break it down even further. Like, what other games do they want? And if they're like, oh, well, they also want Uncharted or something like that. And you're like, oh, okay, thank God. You picked an exclusive. But like if they named off another non-exclusive game, it was like this process of deduction. I mean, it gives you something to do. I'm not complaining about it. I just find it really funny. It's just this process of deduction. You try to get them to the point that they finally get the correct thing. Oh, that's what you want. Okay. It was so funny. Or when they were looking for like older systems. A lot of people did come in back before GameStop sold older systems. Like, do you have Nintendo 64 games or Super Nintendo games? But most of the time, that wasn't the elderly. God, just that happened occasionally throughout the year because people were buying birthday gifts, but it was mostly during the holidays. And the worst days for that to happen were, of course, on Black Friday because you're dealing with a billion other people in line. And that's a time where it's not as much fun to try to do the Sherlock Holmes deduction of what's going on. Then you're like, oh, why did you have to come today of all days? Like I said, why didn't you plan ahead? You've got customers. But the thing is when you have a shit ton of other people that are all trying to check out at the same time, they're all super motivated to help you at that point. So even though it's a little bit frustrating, like, why didn't you come prepared? You don't know what's going on. All the customers are thinking the same thing you are because they're like, oh my God, I'm already in an hour-long line. I don't want to wait this much longer. Let's all figure this out together. What does this person want? So and I'm not even kidding. Like, this did happen. I had them looking for a game. This was the worst, is they didn't know the title. You had to kind of go off of details. Like, they're like slowly, oh, well, it's a shooter. Okay, that's a billion different games. Well, it has multiplayer. Okay, because he plays with his friends. All right. And I think it's for his Xbox. Okay, we're getting there. We have a couple of details. Did I mention that there's guns? Yep, that's what a shooter is. Thank you. Okay. Oh, what was the name of it? Oh, it had something to do with war. Not really helping too much. I think there were aliens in it. Okay. They're getting closer. Was it Halo? Oh, that doesn't sound right. Was it Gears of War? That's it. And you're like, oh, thank God. And what was fun was, like, people around him would ask him, like, different detailed questions. And it was great when you had people to help, but it also was like, oh my God, not right now. Not right now. But it was genuinely funny when they came in absolutely clueless. You do feel bad for them, but it's still funny at the same time, just how little they know about video games and how much you have to just dig out details and try to bring their memories back about what they actually came to buy. The worst times were not even Black Friday. I know I said the worst times were Black Friday, but really the worst times were midnight launches. Especially if they don't remember the contact information. And they're or they don't have the same last name. That was the worst. When they didn't have the same last name, for some reason the grandchild wasn't with them. I'm like, I can't help you unless you're in the notes. And they start freaking out because they might have been the person that was putting the money down on it, but they have the name under somebody else's name, and it's the grandparents with a different last name than the kid. And it was such a pain in the ass to deal with that. We had to like get people on the phone, because pre-orders really were a serious thing, especially after we had a coworker get caught stealing. So we wanted to make sure that nobody else was getting their pre-orders stolen or they went to the wrong people, because sometimes, I don't know if it ever happened at my store, but I know it happened at another store where they did give out the game to the wrong person. It's crazy. Those midnight launches can get really crazy, and that's why they do the whole ring up thing beforehand. So they try to not deal with an insane amount of people all at the same time, trying to pick up their games, trying to check off the list, trying to do the upselling as usual, and it can happen. So when you've got a grandparent who's already clueless about video games, isn't quite sure what they're picking up, and then when they finally get their phone number in, the correct one, and you tell them they can't pick up the game because they have a different last name and they didn't make notes, they lose it. And it's an unfortunate situation, but we don't want to give away the game to the wrong person, especially because a lot of these times it was already paid off. So it'd be like giving away $65 to somebody. So they'd get pissed at us, whatever. Usually the parent would have to come in, they'd be all flustered. And that's why we'd make sure from that point forward, it didn't happen that often, because once it did happen just once or twice, we started asking the customer, okay, I know you're doing this pre-order. Are you the one picking it up? At least that's what my GameStop did. I haven't run into other GameStops that have been that detailed, or at least I haven't heard them be that detailed, because we'd tell the customer, okay, let us know in the notes if there's anybody else that might be picking it up, because we didn't like dealing with those kind of situations. Because when you work for retail, you don't want to piss people off, because it feels like most of the time people are already kind of upset. Maybe not so much at GameStop, more of at Walmart, because nobody wants to be at Walmart, but there were quite a few people that were just wanting to get in and get out. I mean, I understand that. That's how I am when I go into a store. I don't like spending a whole lot of time in stores nowadays. I don't have time. I want to get in, I want to get my shit, and I want to get out. Which is why it's so fucking frustrating now that all these GameStops, I mean, I can't think of the last time I went to a GameStop and they had 2 people at the register. It's always been 1, and there's always been a crazy long line and people not knowing what the hell's going on. But that's a different rant for another day. I think I've already had that rant. I don't know. I'm losing track at this point. But when that happened, it was unfortunate, so we started taking down notes, and that's what really solved that situation. Other times, it was really interesting, were like old people that we'd ask if they needed help with anything. I think this is last thoughts. They'd come in, look around, and of course they'd say they don't have, they don't need help with anything. They're fine. They're the independent elderly. They want to be as independent as possible. They don't want people opening the door for them. If they're in a wheelchair, they don't want people pushing them in the wheelchair. Or they don't want people to open the door for them if they have a wheelchair, because that was common procedure for us. If I saw somebody who's coming, and because you can see it's all glass through the windows, somebody's coming in a wheelchair, I'm going to open the door for them because I want to be helpful. I know it's probably a pain in the ass. In fact, when I saw people that were independent and did not want me to open the door for them, holy crap, I just felt bad watching them struggle to open the door. Anyway, so they'd tell me that they didn't need anything. Walk around the store. They do some laps. You can tell they have no idea where the hell they are. And then they come up to you and they ask the question, Do you have any backgammon? No, we don't have any backgammon here. That'd be at Walmart. And that happened quite often, and it wasn't always backgammon, of course. It was some random thing. But it's so funny seeing these people, like, they don't want any help at all. They just want to do it themselves, and then they finally cave in and go, I don't know where the hell I am. I feel like that's what Coop would do if he walked into GameStop. I feel like he had no idea what the hell's going on. If you guys have watched the Walmart series, you know who Coop is. I'm proud of you if you know who Coop is. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. I barely touched my drink. I completely forgot about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Of course, if you guys liked the video, let me know about your experiences with the elderly in your store, or if you've seen it happen in a retail store. I mean, it's so funny. They range between really angry to really not giving a fuck. And it's usually one or the other, because they've either gotten so pissed off in their years of life that they hate everything, or they just don't care anymore because they're old and they know they really don't have to care because they're old. I mean, they've been retired for like 20 years at this point. They haven't had to work. They just kind of chill, play golf, watch golf, and do the crossword puzzle. They don't really give a shit. And, I envy those people that just don't give a shit, Those are inspirational old people that just don't give a fuck. They don't let anything bother them. If they're lost and confused, they're like, meh, whatever. If I find it, I find it. If not, I'll ask the guy on my way out. Proud of those old people. Cheers to those old people. So thank you for watching, everyone. And as always, subscribe for more content and have a fantastic day. See you guys. So to you loyal listeners that listen past the fade out, I want to thank you. I really do. It means a lot to me. It's always fun to have this kind of little outro. I can just kind of talk about whatever. I know you guys expect it's going to be like about whatever. I'm already trying to formulate new ideas for the new podcast. We're so close. It's like $5 away to bi-weekly. I'm kind of expecting that at some point it might hit that 150 mark. I'm thinking of setting up another goal marker for either the channel or for Patreon to start a vlog channel. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I know these are kind of vlogs in themselves, but I was thinking of like doing like midnight launches, going to midnight launches, random adventures that I go on with Eric or myself or the other friends, because sometimes I'll even take a trip up to Phoenix, see my buddy up there. We'll do random shit. I don't know if you guys would like that, if you guys don't care. If there's any other content you guys want to see on this channel that you feel like fits the theme of it, I'm not 100% sure what the theme is of this channel, really. I've always been struggling with that ever since its creation. It started as a game hunting channel, it became a gameplay channel, and then it became a news channel, and then it became a like gaming deals channel, and it just kept evolving until one day I was really upset. I was pretty depressed, had a bad experience, I think at a GameStop, and I just started ranting about it. People seemed to enjoy it, and then I did a couple videos about my experiences at GameStop. People started watching them a little bit, didn't get a whole, it was like a little bit of a following, and then randomly one of my Walmart videos hit it big, and one of my rants hit it pretty big as well. So I don't know. Let me know if you guys have any ideas. The channel's kind of grinding to a halt when it comes to subscribers. You guys are still watching the stuff though, which is awesome, because this is a really fun side job / hobby. I have so much fun doing this. I have so much fun Twitch streaming for you guys. Of course, there's a Twitch stream tonight. I should have said that in the very beginning of the episode. We're playing Mario Kart. Please join us. It's so much fun having a full party of you guys. We're all playing Mario Kart. Usually we get our ass kicked, but even then, it's a blast. So if you haven't joined us before, definitely come on by. And if you have joined us before in the past and just hadn't had time until hopefully today, I highly recommend it. So much fun. My friend code you can easily access during the stream, ! Code. You get my friend code and you can join. Of course, we do have a Discord. Lots of you guys are in the Discord already. It's fun to talk to you guys. I also bounce ideas off of people. You guys can get notifications for my new videos. Twitter's another great way to get all that as well. I know I'm doing a lot of promotional stuff. I don't really do much promotional stuff in these videos. I probably should do a little bit just to let you guys know. I've had some people say, You have a Twitter account? So if people don't know, I'm kind of slacking. Instagram, I don't really post too much, just the occasional picture from some adventure or some new game that I bought or something like that. If you want to follow me on any of those different things, the best way to stay involved with the channel is Discord and Twitter. Twitter, I'm very active. I'm posting pretty much every single day. I post game deals there. I retweet stuff, important stuff with the gaming industry, and I also kind of just post my thoughts occasionally if you guys enjoy my thoughts. Maybe I'll bring back Fanta Rant Friday. That was a thing that I thought up quite a while ago, and I did a couple times, but that was before people actually watched the channel. So I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. To all of you, my wonderful, loyal listeners, even the people that don't watch all the way through, I still appreciate them, but you guys are the ones that really give a shit about the entirety of my opinion and my voice. Because you know that after this is just going to be just random bullshit. Thank you, seriously, so much for watching. I'm having a blast making these videos, and I hope you all continue to support it. I hope you continue to enjoy it. If at any point you have any ideas for anything, please don't hesitate to let me know. See ya.